Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface, part of TGN, Total Gaming Network, and so far on my patch 5.1 PTR videos I've brought you 3 brand new scenarios which are to be added to the live game. The first one was Assault on Zanvest, which is my own personal favourite because I thought it had a very good mixture of both difficulty and also diversity. You started off in an airship doing some assaulting, by then blowing up points, dropping a force field. You then landed and there was a ground assault up a hill where you were fighting not only Mantid but also your opposing faction, and it all culminated in a very difficult fight with a final boss. The next scenario was Dagger in the Dark, which was Horde specific. You teamed up with Vol'jin at the secret area and ended up fighting both the Sirok and also Garrosh's own personal private guard, which saw Vol'jin getting stabbed in the neck at the end with a poisonous blade. What made this scenario very interesting on top of that was that storyline was then continued as part of your Domination Point Dominance Offensive Progressive quests, which you got after you gained X amount of rep with that faction. So that was very interesting to see. And then yesterday's scenario, which was called A Little Patience, saw an Alliance-specific scenario where the Horde had overtaken the Temple of the Red Crane in Krasrang Wilds. They had usurped Chi-Ji, and the Alliance were fighting to make sure that Chi-Ji got it back. There were some very nice ideas within that scenario, but I felt it was just a little bit lacking still. Although the thought process was good, I can't see myself returning back to it on even a semi-regular basis, other than maybe to pick up a few achievement points, and that would be it. So if it was tweaked a little bit, possibly. But today, we've got Lion's Landing, and from what you've seen of the video so far, it's a very simple storyline. The Horde are attacking Lion's Landing, and the Alliance are trying to fight them off and take it back. And sadly, this is a massive, massive step back to what the scenarios are like currently on live. There is nothing to do in it whatsoever. This is a 15-minute long scenario, so it's a relatively long one, and all I do in that time is just fight off pack after pack, wave after wave of Horde soldiers, hand to hand. Now, after we've repelled these waves of ads, we go round and we speak to 3 members of the SI7 team. And they will give us access to another ability for the final wave of Horde ads. And this comes in the form of an action button. But they pretty much all do the same. You get to choose between rifles, fireworks and bombs. And they all do AoE damage, and then they have another effect. One may knock them back, one may add a dot to them, but it's all very, very samey, and the action button is on about a 30-second to 45-second cooldown, so you only get to use them half a dozen to 8 or so times throughout the whole of the scenario, which I've mentioned is 15 minutes long. Now, I've made my feelings perfectly clear about what I think of questing a Miss of Pandaria. I think it's dreadful. If you watch my beta videos going from 85 to 90, I was scathing in a lot of the areas of the levelling up process. But then you add it on to the fact that we've now got this horrible, horrible daily grind for quests. And then you find what essentially is one long kill quest wrapped up in a 15-minute scenario. Feels to me really, really insulting. So there we go, we've spoken to the 3 SI7 agents and we've got our special weapon, which pretty much all does the same. And then the final wave of Horde soldiers comes, which lasts for around 6 minutes. So what could have been done to improve this scenario? Well, to be quite frank, it's probably not difficult, even in the comments below, for people to come up with various ideas on how this could have been improved. I mean, just a 30-second off the top of my head here, I could say, right, well, if they wanted this scenario to last about 15 minutes and it was just purely going to be based on wave after wave of Horde ads, then this is a scenario that certainly could have benefited from something interesting along the lines of either turret-based fighting or vehicular-based fighting, or a mixture of the two. You could have even had us fight down the hill, just doing hand-to-hand combat. We get to the bottom here. There are 3 different weapon/vehicle choices to choose from for the 3 different members of the scenario. One could possibly get into a gyrocopter that went on a set path. One could possibly get onto a demolisher or something like that, catapult, demolisher. One could have gotten onto a rigid turret. And that way we could have destroyed the waves after waves after waves of coming. Those vehicles maybe had a 5-minute lifespan before they were either destroyed by the Horde or something along those methods. We then spoke to the 3 SI-7 agents which were scattered around the place. And after that, they gave us those ground weaponry which were on a much shorter cooldown, maybe 15-second cooldown on the action button. And then we had a ground face-to-face assault final wave of Horde ads. And that's just thinking off the top of my head, not even going into anything more in depth than that to make it interesting. And like I said, I'm pretty sure if you want to contribute in the comment section below, you could come out with some much better ideas than that over how this scenario itself could have been made 10 times better. But for it to be dressed up like this, 15 minutes long, one long kill quest, it's not good enough. It's a saying that I go through on multiple occasions with Mr. Pandaria, but it isn't good enough at all. So yeah, come on guys, I'm going to throw the gauntlet down. Judging by what you've seen, what ideas have you got which you want to contribute below as to how this scenario could have been much better? And I hope you enjoyed the vid. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon.